Hello and welcome to episode 132 of the Book Wars Pod. I'm Chris. I am here, as always, with my lovely co-hosts Miranda and Rana, and with Kristen doing the noises and the producing. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Hey.
This is where the fun begins.
Is it, though? Is it where the fun begins?
I think that's debatable.
For us, not for anyone else.
Maybe I'm just new, but I really appreciate this.
I know,
bonus,
Rana
Kristen,
brings the
honestly.
enthusiasm to this podcast, and it's great.
I'm sure, give me a little time and I'll be just as miserable as the rest of you, but it's fine.
It's perfect. It's delightful. So, as a reminder, we are finally reading books again. Big step for the Book Wars Pod.
Books? On my books podcast?
I don't know her.
My God!
Sorry, we should probably tell Rana what this is from. It's the only non-Star Wars thing that is on the soundboard, and it's from a sketch show called I Think You Should Leave. And
It's on Netflix. Highly
great.
recommend. To all
I'll
our
look it
listeners,
up.
honestly, this is an official Book Wars Pod endorsement of I Think You Should Leave on Netflix.
and
I
the
just
three
gaslit
that are-
myself and I thought maybe I don't really like Star Wars.
That would be really funny if these were from Star Wars, but I forgot that I saved them, and then I was like, I'm absolutely putting these back on the soundboard. It's from one particular sketch, which I'll consider linking in the show notes in case you want to look up this one particular sketch. But anyway, okay, I'm going.
They're all excellent.
into my hole now.
Fantastic.
It's a great time to just pop a gummy and watch. And it's a very short season, so you can just watch the whole season in one sitting. Like, it's only like probably 3 hours for the entire season.
Yeah, I was literally telling Kristen that earlier because I think the last time I had a gummy and watched it, Jess was in town.
Nice.
And we watched Star Wars, and then I Think You Should Leave.
I mean, Miranda, when you came here a couple years ago, or year and a half ago,
Yeah.
whenever, I'm pretty sure so it was Thanksgiving, so my parents were also here. And I'm pretty sure after they left, all we did at nights, because it was snowy as fuck, so we couldn't go out, all we did at nights was pop gummies and watch I Think You Should Leave and Dairy Girls. And it was a great fucking time.
We played Mario
So
Party, too. It was fun.
We also played Mario
It was
Party.
great.
So at first I thought you were going to say your parents also popped gummies and watched it with you, and I was like, wow, that's an interesting relationship, but I get
No,
it.
they're not that cool. That's very not the relationship we have. It'd be weird. It wouldn't even be fun. It'd be weird. Anyway, what are we all drinking today?
I've got a little beer situation going on. It is a local guy, as usual, a Little Beast Brewing beer. It's a lager. It's a really light one, though. It's like 4.8 and super crisp, I guess. It's real nice.
It's Pilsnery. I had it yesterday,
It's very Pilsnery.
but in like a good way.
I am the
Love that for
Pilsner
you.
boyfriend, almost. Thankfully, not really, but we love Pilsners on this podcast.
I'm also drinking beer, so I'll go next. I haven't had this one on the pod for sure, because I think it's new. So it's by our friends at Fort George, and it's co-brewed or brewed in collaboration with another brewery that I don't know well, but it's called Tender Loving Empire Brewery, which is very funny. But it's a Northwest Pale Ale, and it's 5.8, and I actually really like the art. It's like, you guys on the podcast with me can see it. It's like wood grainy art, basically. It like is made to mimic wood grains, but then also look like Cannon Beach and other shit.
Very like Binary Sunset vibe
Right?
Yeah,
from
for
this
sure.
from this angle.
Makes me miss
Yeah.
the ocean.
It's
Not that that's in Binary Sunset, but I am again looking at the can that people can't see on the pod.
Yeah, the notable
No,
ocean
you know
on
what I could do?
Tatooine.
We have a we have a whole ass Instagram.
True.
Also, Miranda, the Dune Sea. Hello.
Doi.
My bad.
Anyway, yeah, I don't really do beer pod anymore, so now you can this can be beer pod again.
Well, this is the first time you've had a beer on the pod in a couple weeks.
Yes, because
Welcome
I
back.
am married now, which is great, which means I get to drink again.
That's the real reason that she
There
got
are-
married, by the way.
There are other things to be happy about, but one of them is that I get to have beer on the pod. So,
Another happy landing.
okay, great. Chris is drinking whiskey, so I'll let him go next.
I am. I'm drinking scotch. I think I've had it on the pod before, but Compass Box Spice Tree. It's very smooth, little spicy as you might guess from the name, but not super peaty. Like got a nice sweetness to it. Rana, how about you?
I have the Petit Petit by the Michael David wine group, but it's the cheaper version of his wines. As much as I love like Freak Show and Earthquake, those are all really good, but I just have those when other people come over. But I got this for the massive snowstorm, and it is a Petit Syrah, as the name suggests. And this is my last glass of it because I had most of it during the snowstorm, and it was lovely to bake little pies for my dog. This does not represent me well. Like, this makes me sound much better than I actually am. I am not the one who is like, oh, wine and baking for my dog. But this weekend, I was wine and baking for my dog person. And it's delicious. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Wait, Rana, how much snow did you get?
Hard to say because of all the wind. It was like some spots were only 6 inches and other spots were like drift thigh high. So I'd say probably a little under 2 feet in total.
Yeah, we got like super microclimated and only got a foot, and then the next neighborhood over got 8 inches more than that.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
Boulder is bizarre.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Well, before we dive into our book, we do want to give a note on the charitable organizations that we tell people to give to. If you remember from our last episode, the org that we have been highlighting while we've been reading Shadowfall is Advanced Native Political Leadership. Highly encourage people to continue giving to them, but also everything is horrible this week, and obviously we have been all distracted and thinking about the victims of the hate crime in Atlanta this week. And if you are also thinking about the victims in Atlanta and wanting to do something and give to the Asian American community, we have several organizations that we are going to put in our podcast description. One of whom is API ENC, which stands for API Equality Northern California. They are a really fantastic organization that builds transgender, non-binary, and queer API power in the San Francisco Bay Area. So they're fantastic. Other organizations supporting the Asian American community in our podcast description, as I said. So definitely take a look at all of those. And, of course, Advanced Native Political Leadership. So, yeah, if you have anything to spare now that the stimulus is hitting, definitely feel free to give to those organizations. And now we continue with Shadowfall by Alexander
Star
Freed.
Wars.
Now we Star Wars it up. So, like, in this section, we get a lot of keys. I can never remember. What is the fucking
I think we're
audiobook say
going
it
with
is?
keys.
Keys? Okay. I always think it's Keezy. And I'm very, very bad at knowing how Star Wars names are pronounced.
Well, there's no like language that we know of it, so I think it's fine. Like,
It's true.
how do we know? Audiobooks, I guess.
I
People will
used to listen to the audiobooks, and then I would not remember how to pronounce it. It was pretty fucking funny.
Anyway, so Keys. We decided it's Keys.
Yes.
We get a lot more of him, obviously, than we did in book 1 and also in, like, section 1 that we were reading of this book.
Maybe more than we need.
He is, like...
Personal opinion, but
It's interesting because, like, he is, like... we got the view of him that he is this extremely honorable, decent, like incredibly smart man, like the kind of guy that like the Empire doesn't deserve. And then he left, like, and of course we get that view through Irika. And now we meet him. And he's kind of fucked up.
You could almost say that he's like a lot of other Imperial officers who seem smart, but also are terrible fucking people.
Charming to the last.
Like that guy.
He and Tarkin would get along. That's
Oh,
that's
for
really all you need to say
sure.
about his character.
Yeah, for sure.
But he is like, it's interesting because, you know, you get the feeling that anybody who's still with the Empire at this point is like the true believer and like really, you know, kind of like we see in Mandalorian where you have all the Imperials being like, we need to, you know, wipe the rebels out and restore order to the galaxy. And Keyes is just like, nah, let's just like fuck shit up.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I almost can't blame him for it. Because other than, like, the weird-ass droid who may or may not be Snoke on the ship, like...
Oh my god.
They have nothing. The Empire was literally built on order. It's the whole fucking thing. Fascism. It's how it works. And, like, the head goes away. And, like, a Hydra situation, a bunch of other heads came up, but they're all really shitty. So nobody has a point, like, other than, you know, Ray Sloan and a couple other, like, kind of higher officers. People just seem to be, like, wandering the galaxy aimlessly. And he's like, well, I still have this fighter wing and this Star Destroyer. So, like, let's go kill some rebels. Why not?
I do feel like, at least to me, when he was Devin, I felt like he was a little deranged then, too. Like, just some of the choices he made seemed like we weren't getting the full picture, and, like, just something strange was going on. And so I'm not, like, super surprised that he's so bizarre and deranged here. But also, I would say, like, if you're someone who is, you know, carrying out Operation Cinder and, like, actively wiping out whole planets, like, you probably are a little messed up to begin. And I know there, you know, I'm not saying that, like, I know there are people who have, you know, I don't know how to say this without sounding weird, but it's like, I'm not saying that, oh, in order to commit acts of evil, you're, like, in some way messed up, because I think there are lots of people who are just, like, do bad things as bad people, right? And, you know, their minds are working the way that they're supposed to. But not that they're, you know, the end result is bad, but that's their own personality being the issue. But I think, like, I don't think Keyes would have made it this far if he were a normal person, right? Like, I think he's just, like, deranged, and that's why he's the person he is. I think that's
Yeah.
why he's had his success.
Yeah, I think without the Empire, like, you can't be... I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. You can't be, like, on the straight and narrow, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's got to be something going on for you to continue trying to do whatever Empire things or staying in a war, even though you know that you should all just be going home. And, like, he says it at some point. He's like, we should all be going home for real. But we're all still loyal, so, like, let's go. Because that's a logical answer. Like, at this point, nobody will judge you if you just bounce. Like, war is over. And the Christmas song is in my head. But
I don't know what you're talking about, but that's fine.
I'm not going to sing it for the podcast, but you
Thank
know what
you.
it is.
I appreciate that.
I don't, but that's okay.
Send it in the chat.
Okay.
I hope a listener somewhere knows what it is, because Chris
Right?
and I are like, the fuck?
Somewhere there's one person who's like, I know what she's talking about.
It's
I
a
understood that
about
reference.
war ending.
It's very well known. What's the other name? Let me find it.
I'm thinking of that song from the 70s, or maybe it's from the 80s, about the Vietnam War.
Oh,
Or, like,
Um,
or about the Kent State
it's also
incident.
called Happy Xmas, song by John Lennon and Yoko Ono.
This is bizarre to me.
Okay, that's why I
I'll
don't know
Google
it.
it later.
Anyway,
Sorry.
no.
I was apologizing
totally
to
fine.
the listeners.
Oh, that's
not to
that's
you.
fine. I was like, I don't know why you're apologizing to me.
No,
To
you're
listeners
part
is
of
fair.
this. Yeah.
Just on behalf of all of us, just sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't know why you're here.
Yeah. Now you're getting it. Now you're understanding the vibe of the podcast. But yeah, Miranda, I think you're exactly right. And I think the interesting thing about Keyes is that, like, he did bounce. And, like, he had, you know, he kind of, to reuse the word in a different context, he bounced around from, you know, planet to planet and, like, kind of looked at different areas. And then, you know, obviously, at the end of the book, the New Republic caught up with him. But he then chose to be like, fuck it. If they're going to get me, let's kill some more people. And it's interesting because he really makes me think back to something Erica said in the first book, when kind of like toward the beginning, when she was in Traitor's Remorse, about how, like, there's, like, different tiers of Imperial defectors. Like, if you quit before or just after Alderaan, you're, like, golden. Like, you're, like, people forgive you, people, like, accept that you didn't understand what the Empire was, you were part of the system, but once you got that proof, you left.
Yeah.
And then there's the... Sorry, go ahead.
No, because it's like that is the first, like, major... The Empire's been doing all sorts of genocide and like, atrocities, but it's generally like, oh, we're just oppressing these people, because that's fine, right?
It's the first super public one, to be sure.
Yeah. Like, it is...
And the first at that scale that people are aware of, even
Yeah.
within the Empire.
Like,
I mean, we know from other things.
It's huge. They do use the Death Star to destroy an entire fucking planet. And, like, I think she's right about that.
Yeah.
Like...
And yeah, and I think that's fair. We've seen other people who left around that time who it's you know, we forgive them as readers, as, you know, viewers, whatever. And then you've got the people who quit after Endor. And for them it's like, well, you stayed too long, but at least you're not dumb and you understand when the war's over. So, like, just get out of my face and we'll ignore you. But then you have the people who quit after Cinder. And those are the people who, you know, again, now we know as the reader, that's Erica. And by the end of this section, so does Alphabet Squadron. But, like, those are the people who it's like, wow, there was nothing you wouldn't do until, like, you just finally gave up because there was no hope. And Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Finish your thought.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that, like, those are the people that, like, the New Republic, the readers and viewers of Star Wars, you're not supposed to sympathize with them at all. And, you know, I think fairly, like, I don't, for speaking for myself, I don't sympathize with them at all because they're horrible.
Yeah.
Everything's under control. Situation normal.
I was just going to say, well, two things. One, I think there are two levels of what you just said about quitting after Cinder. I think there are people who quit after Cinder who weren't directly involved in the execution of Cinder, and then there are people who literally carried out that plan. And I think Erica is even, like, in another subset of that because she didn't even choose to leave, right? Like, she had to be told to leave. And I get that it's brainwashing and all that, but I just always feel like every time, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about this a little bit later, but I remember there's one line when she kills people when she's getting Aiden back, and she refers to herself as, like, a novice killer, and I was like, what? Like, you killed millions of people. What are you talking about? So I just think there's a lot of cognitive dissonance, not only with her, but with Keyes and with all of these people who have, including the people who, you know, were part of Operation Cinder. But I just wanted to vocalize out of, like, I almost feel like Erica doesn't fit into that bubble, and people don't even realize that she was forced to leave. Like, people think that she's in that bubble, and she thinks she's in that bubble, but we know from the end of the last book that she's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, I do agree, like, she would still be in the Empire if her commanding officer had not literally told her to go.
Mm-hmm.
But to your other point about, like, I am not a killing machine, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like there's something different between, like, being in a TIE fighter and just firebombing an entire fucking planet, which is obviously terrible, and like shooting somebody when you can like see them. Like, I think that's just a new experience for her, that she's like, oh, there's a person here.
Yeah. I
Pew,
guess
pew.
that's like the whole argument about drones. Like,
Yeah, I was
now
that
it
was exactly
makes-
what I was going to bring up. It's like it's
Yes.
the difference between like Army and Marines versus Air Force first in fighter jets, now with drones. That's exactly it.
We're doomed.
I feel
too
like I
close to
shouldn't
home.
laugh now.
Nervous laughter. But yeah, and so we have Keyes, and he like obviously technically he fits into the bucket of people who left after Cinder and were like horrified by what they did. Except he doesn't, because now we know he just left not even out of guilt, but just purely out of like, this ship has already sunk and I will like not just like, it's not even like I'm not going to go down with it. I've gone down with it, but now that I'm in the water, I'm going to swim.
Yeah, like, he recognizes that the war is over. And that it's like, we're just genociding for the sake of genocide. Which I think makes his decision at the end of Alphabet Squadron to come back even more interesting. Because it's like, you been knew that there's no new hopes here.
Yeah.
I hope that's something we see a little bit more information about. And Chris, maybe you already know if we do or not, but I would just, because at this point, I can't tell if it's like that only happened for the surprise and shock value of entering him into the story later, and so we would have another antagonist, or is it, are we going to get that sort of interesting deep dive into whatever the hell he thought he was doing? I don't know what it was, but I would just be curious to know if we'll see more of that throughout the rest of the trilogy.
We do. We get a little bit of it in the second half of this book. We get a lot of it in Victory's Price.
Oh, now I know
which
he's
is
going to live
third
through the book. No, I'm kidding. I already knew he's on the cover, so that's fine.
But so we do get a lot more about Keyes and kind of his motivations. But like, Miranda, I think you make a great point of like, he knows the war can't be won. Like, he explicitly says it. Mm-hmm. But then, it begs the question, what is he doing? And I think that's kind of...
In theory, I kind of get it, because I am a Capricorn. The whole thing at the end of the last book, when he was still Devon, and like, whatever intelligence bullshit went down, he was like, okay, so everybody's just bad at their jobs, but they're still doing it. I'm good at my job, so I'm gonna go fix it. Like, I don't know how that sounds to other people, but I'm like, yes, this is a reason. Let's go. You gotta fix the thing. I don't make the rules. Except, like, he's doing it in a way that's like, more genocide.
Right, that's what I was about to say.
Kill
I was
for
like,
killing's
would
sake, and
you
it's like,
genocide so you could get a problem solved. Because maybe
Yeah.
we should have a talk.
Yeah, and he's
I'm
very
doing the
like,
best at this.
he talks about how it's for his squadron. Like, and he talks about how, particularly when they're going after the Lodestar, he talks about how it's because the squadron wants revenge for Pandem Nye. And that is what's going to bring them together.
But I feel like he says that. I don't feel like it's necessarily the truth. Like, I think that he excuses these things just like he excuses, like, wanting people to get off of their, what was it? Like, wanting them to get out of their emergency pods, but then knowing that one guy wouldn't. But also earlier he was, like, talking about his loyalty. I don't know. I just feel like he exists in this weird world of, like, telling himself things without... I don't know that I really think he believes them. I think he wants to live in these two little bubbles of, like, I'm a good commander and I connect with people, and also I don't care if everyone dies. Like, I think he tells himself he cares, but his actions suggest to me that he does not.
Yeah, he super does not care. He's like, we're just gonna do an entire thing to kill Hera, General Syndulla. I
Who's
promise
not even there.
she's not there. I
Thank
promise
God.
I'm a good narrator, just like all the other narrators in this series.
Staring at the fourth wall.
Yeah. That's a really great point, Rana, and I think to me it's interesting because like he claims he's doing it for his squadron, but like that kind of does remain to be seen because like he's like, I've been out in the real world and they don't forgive you and it's a hard way to live. And it's like, okay, but like you're not like you could try to help them all leave, like to not murder people, or you could just take them on like other missions that aren't genocide.
Yeah, and he was like on his own in the galaxy for what, like a couple months tops?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the guy who... Never mind, I'm not going to do a whole weird metaphor there. I was going to do a metaphor about shitty boyfriends, but I won't do that. We've had that conversation on this pod already before we started recording. But what I was going to... The other thing is that I just feel like, yeah, he has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Like, he says that, but he did not even tell people what his background was. And the only thing I can think of is, like... I mean, sure, we'll find out more in the future. But again, it was a couple months, and I'm thinking of like that last scene where those people said they disagreed with him, and he tried to take himself out of there, and he was like the too drunk friend who's like, I'm a problem, and everyone's like, no, it's cool, don't worry about it. He's like, I'm going home, and everyone's like, okay, whatever. And then that happened, and everyone still welcomed him, and he was like, nah, I gotta go. So I just feel like, what the fuck is he talking about, honestly? Like, oh, it's so hard out there that you should just die. I don't know.
He's clearly very good at manipulating people.
True.
It's a big... I'm not going to get into how I really want to explain it on a podcast because I have... It's not shame. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But he's very much like, this is just my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. Ah. And then everyone else is like, okay, but like, let's talk about this. And like, he just like... puts it out there in a way for them to talk about it and like go for his preferred option.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100% classic manipulation.
Yeah, and he knows it too, right? Like, because like he got Erica to leave. Who knows who else he got to leave before he himself bounced. And as you say, we see it in his leadership style now that he's back with the squadron. And he really reminds me of Jesus, Miranda. Sorry. Side chat.
Oh my God! He admitted!
And he reminds me of like somebody who works for like a shitty company, like a company that's not doing good things, that's not doing a good job, that is just, there aren't redeeming qualities of it.
Keys works for Enron.
I mean,
Facebook in the chat.
Oh no, honestly, like, I like that, Miranda. Let's take that further. He works for Enron. Everybody at this point knows Enron's going down. They know
Dick
Enron's
Cheney's
corrupt.
gone.
Cheney's gone. Halliburton's exploding, and he is still there. And he's telling people, like, I think I can do some good on the way out. There's some stuff on the margins that I think I can do good. I can help my team. I can help them land on their feet, and all that. But at the end of the day, all he's doing is securing his golden parachute. Like, he's making himself feel good. He's not helping anyone else with this.
Yeah, he's leaving his job at Enron and is gonna go work for like the Koch brothers.
Yeah, like he's like still collecting checks from Enron while he like continues to destroy the planet and is also like updating his resume to be Exxon specific. Like,
excellent metaphor. Thank you.
That was
really,
excellent
really proud
verb
to be on this podcast today.
And so you do see this kind of like these two sides of him, and neither of these sides are good, but he definitely is not as selfless as he appears, and we're definitely, I think, going to see some more of that from him.
Yeah, and I mean, I touched on this earlier, but like in my Alphabet Squadron trilogy, like he's not the only one who's doing. The only one I trust is Will Lark, Everyone else is
Agreed.
just lying out of their asses like, I'm a good person. Look at how I defected to the Empire. It's for good, or from the Empire. It's for good reasons. And it's like, you want money, man.
To be fair, Nath is very open about the fact that he is a shitty person.
Yes, and like, we love him for that.
Right.
Nath
Yeah,
is
no,
very
I
much
agree.
the fucking Capitol Hill bro who knows he's an asshole and is like, whatever, it pays.
Yeah.
This.
All right, speaking of not being trustworthy, let's talk about everybody's favorite disaster.
Which one?
Fair point. Let's
The
talk
one-
about Erica Quell.
The one on
Okay,
the
I was like,
outline.
my Star Wars?
Yeah, disasters in Alphabet Squadron.
It was a joke, okay? I get it. I'm not funny. It's fine. Let's go Erica. Let's go Erica.
And
Thank
when I was first, I read this a few weeks back, because we've been trying to record this
Surprise.
for months. Well, in my defense, we've been
I
trying to
also
record
saw
this
you
for 3
tweet
months.
that a book that came out like a week ago you just finished. and
Okay, I
it's
did
the
finish
third
that,
one of this
but-
trilogy, so shut the fuck up.
Listen, I
Sorry, I'm
have
sorry.
a lot of
My
hobbies.
true personality is finally coming out on the pod.
No, it's perfect. But anyway, so when I finished this, there was like very much the like Twitter meme of like so and so sowing. Yes, this is going to be great. So and so reaping. Oh fuck. Oh no, I hate this. And with Erica, it's very much Erica sowing. Oh fuck. Oh no, I hate this. Erica reaping. Also, oh fuck. Oh no, I hate this. Like she really just cannot win.
Yeah. Well,
She's not doing great, Bob. Just
I'm definitely rooting for her a little bit more than I was in the last book, but not 100%, but more
It's
than
weird.
0.
It's weird how honesty will do that. Like,
Yeah.
we know now that she did worse things than we knew she did in the first one, but we also didn't trust her in the first one.
we
Yeah,
still don't
well,
trust her.
I think she's just a
Love
little
you.
more like, yeah, I don't necessarily trust her either, but I'm not saying I like her, but I'm saying like it's not as irritating to read her chapters and I don't feel as much like she's before. I think it was the formation of the new squad just really made her constantly try to re-explain how it would have been in the Empire and how this thing was and how she really wants it to be ordered in this way, but it's not, and blah blah blah, and woe is me. But I feel like now she's a little less like upset about everything because she knows she has no ground to stand on.
Because they're in space.
Right. Even with their simulated gravity. Yeah.
Yeah,
No ground to be
especially
seen.
especially once her secret comes out, like when we think that Aiden's dead, and he's definitely missing. And also, surprise, he's alive. But
Yeah, I knew that was going to happen.
oh, I thought he was dead. I was really excited to see where that would go.
It was too early. I was like, no, not getting major character death vibes in the first 30 pages of this book.
Fair. I mean, very much what Alexander Freed in the last book too was like, is this person dead? No. Where was I going with this?
Sorry. Interruptions.
Aiden, Erica.
When everyone finds out her secret and she's more open.
Yeah, like he just like drops this like fucking Mean Girl style, throws up the burn book in the hallway like Erica Quell did genocide. She's not telling the truth. And like, you know, Chas and Will are rightfully like, what the fuck? And of course Nath is sitting there like, oh, did you now?
I had no idea.
Tell
This
us
is
more about
brand
this.
new
When he's asking
information
her
to
for-
me.
When he's asking her for clarifying questions, I'm like, this motherfucker. Oh, and he's like, well, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It's just ridiculous.
It's-
Yeah. Also, he's never asked a clarifying question in the entire rest of the books. And now he's like, I need to wait to judge this situation.
Oh,
publicly."
tell me more.
He's not as subtle as he thinks he is, but Will and Chas are extremely dumb. So
I would say they're emotionally driven.
they're
As an emotionally driven person.
They're Pisces.
they're emotionally something. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it's and Aiden knows too. Like he knows. He asks her on the flight back from wherever he's being captured. Like, hey, how long have I been gone? And she tells him. And he's like, so funny story. You're gonna love this. And so like he knows exactly what he's done, and like it kind of like calls back to, in the first section, we talked about how they have this like weird like balance of terror between them where they like,
Well, and she was like crying when she found him, and
yeah,
like I was like, what? Yeah,
like
there's
she
something.
actually cared about finding him and like was coming to think of him as like one of the closest things that she had to a friend in life. And the whole time he was like, yeah, I'm just leaving my dead man switch email on.
Yeah.
He's out of office. He will respond to your email with an automatic reply that Eureka Quell did Operation Cinder.
If you have rebel needs, please contact Erica Quill.
I mean, it makes me... See, we don't really get a lot from his perspective.
Because he's unconscious.
That. And also the whole part of the trilogy so far.
Sorry. I don't know why I'm like this. We had like 2 chapters
No,
in the
it's
first book,
perfect.
and I hated them so much that they were like really at the top of my brain. It was like, I never want another Aiden chapter. So
But I'm like, what goes on inside? Like, what do you think your relationship to Eureka is like at this point? And like, I'm not gonna speculate on things to come in this book and in this series. But, like, what does he think she's gonna do? Like, after he dies, you know?
well, and he clearly doesn't understand her. Like, that's the thing. Like everyone in this goddamn book, he thinks he knows things that he doesn't actually know.
Nobody understands me.
Yeah, I think he's still very... I don't think he feels the same friendship with her that she does. I think she's trying to latch on and like find a new Keys figure in her life. I think he is still very much like, cool, I have you hostage. Let's get shit done.
I wasn't sure if like maybe I was just being a little heteronormative about it because I can't tell like what Eureka likes in her life, but because I know there have been references to both, maybe it is. But I almost got like weird, like not quite romantic undertone vibes for how she felt about him, but like when she's laughing at his jokes, it was like some other level to the tension other than just like, you know, all my shit.
Interesting.
It was, I don't know, maybe that's just to me. Maybe maybe quarantine has been really long. But I just thought, like, that's totally the way I was reading it. And I didn't like it. It made me very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
mean,
I don't want this. I don't want, please no. Please no. Please don't make this happen. So maybe it's just my brain.
I don't care for hetero things. Yeah, like she's definitely queer and like whatever range of genders and whatever like that. I don't think is as central to how she approaches this relationship as something that one of you touched on about like needing a replacement for Keys. Like she needs somebody to attach to. I think because I don't remember a whole lot of her background before the Empire. It was not her mom, it was a girlfriend.
Yeah, she had a girlfriend that she like
We
followed to
talked
the Empire.
about joining them. Yeah.
Yeah, and they talked about joining the Empire, but with the intention of leaving for the rebellion.
yeah,
The girlfriend left for the
exactly.
rebellion, and Eureka stayed.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I wonder what happened to her.
I
She's
did listen to the
probably
pod.
dead. Lesbians
I did
are
listen
always
to the
dead.
pod where Miranda was like, that was her mom. Heard that one.
But you know, since then she's been in the Empire, and again, their whole thing is order. There is a hierarchy to things. There are processes in place, and you know the rebels are, and even the New Republic, like super loosey goosey. I think like that, having that superior and like developing a relationship, and I imagine she almost sees this as like kind of a mentoring thing, even though she's in therapy with the interrogation droid and all of that, which kind of goes against that because like droid is super spying on her to go tell Aiden all the things. But it's a void that needs to be filled. Is that how you say things?
Yeah.
I don't like the sound of it,
Yeah.
but
It's, you know, if you
I'll
think too
allow
hard
it.
about pretty much anything in, I was going to say American English, but no, the British are weird too. Like, if you think too hard about anything, it's not good.
yeah.
Yeah, including that sentence right there. So.
But yeah, and I think you're totally right, and I think that that's no more evident than after all of this comes out, and she seems even worse than when we found her in terms of her like mental and emotional state.
I think.
Well, she had. Go ahead.
I think also something that's interesting there is like she's not in a great place, obviously. You know, similar to when she like first left the Empire, but she also seems to be very much in like a, you know, see if I give a fuck kind of mood, because she's like, I'm just gonna go onto the bridge and watch things happen. No one's gonna do anything to me. Like, what are they gonna do? Everybody knows my secret. I'm gonna go steal a freighter.
I felt like maybe this hit a little bit harder for her because in the early sections of, you know, the last couple chapters, she was like finally letting her guard down and sort of breaking down a little bit of the like imperial barriers between ranks and all of that. And she's like, yeah, I guess I'll go drink with them. That's cool. Yeah, I'll share a bunk with Chas. It's whatever. And like, I feel like, yeah, I know. I see your face, Miranda. I got that same impression. Her talking about like her strong arms wrapped around her. I was like, oh.
When
okay.
she said that about Hera, I lost my mind. I was with Kristen. We were outside in a yard yesterday, and I stopped reading. It was great.
Yeah, no, agreed. But yeah, I felt like last time she just kind of was connecting with everyone. Remember, she was like telling Will about her life, well, trying to. And so I feel like she was finally starting to think of the squadron as, you know, not just I give you order, you follow order. Sometimes I report to Hera, maybe I'll die. And now they all hate her. So I just think it probably makes it hurt. It's like, it just exacerbates things, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like back to square one for the squadron, except now they know for sure. You know?
And they're missing a flyer or a pilot. A flyer. A flyer. Please take this flyer.
It's Gritty. He's gone.
Yeah.
We've lost him.
They're taking Kairos and they're missing Kairos, not taking. And like everyone, Chas is drunk and has no gas. Like it's just even worse than they started, I think.
She's
Yeah.
just floating in that debris field.
Oh yeah,
No,
when we
and
get
honestly-
to the Chas section, I have some thoughts.
Yeah, no, let's talk about him, because she honestly, like, you say that they're back to square one. I would say that they're like way worse off than before any of
That's
this
what I
started.
mean.
Oh, yeah,
100%,
like-
that's what I mean. Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, Chas
simple,
is-
but it's
Self-destructive spiral doesn't even begin to cover what Chas is doing.
This is gonna sound bad, and it's not gonna be that surprising because it's like my 4th episode. But I was kind of like hoping that Chas would die, like for her own sake. I was like, all right, just let it happen. Like, you're out of gas, you're doing dumb shit, you're drunk as fuck. If you're telling yourself I'm not that drunk, but I can't see, like, something's going on. If you bet your ship, something's going on. And I know that she said she didn't bet it, but she also made reference earlier in that chapter about betting her ship. So I was like, I think you bet your ship. But anyways, I was like, you know what? In the last book, I was like, don't let Chas die. Now I was like, please, like, put her out of her misery. It's rough.
yeah.
I don't know.
She hops in to go into battle, and she's like, "So I've got half a tank of gas, and there are no gas stations between here and the Empire. So we'll just see what happens."
Maybe I shouldn't have been such a dick to the ground crew. Who knows?
Shocking.
A concept.
I like how then she blames it on where she was gambling. She's like, they must have drained my gas tank. I'm like, you've literally every single day been flying around the goddamn galaxy, and now you wonder.
She's the blackout person in the bar who's like, who drank my drink?
Yeah. I'm not even drunk. Yeah.
You won't even let me speak up about this on my own podcast. It's not fair.
Wait, what?
Then say what you gotta say.
Oh, no, I just mean that person is me.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait to
I'm
find
not,
out.
but I'm not here to defend myself about being the person who's like, who's watering down this drink? No one's drunk here. Couldn't be me.
I can't wait to find out about this.
But yeah, she is. Yeah, it's. Rana, you're like, just. Like, it'd be great if Chas just died. It's okay, Chas agrees, so.
Yeah, I was like, it's all right. She says she wants to go. Like, just let it at this point. I don't Yeah. I think it is a miracle of autopilot and radar and shields that she has not died yet.
Also,
This
Will.
book.
Will Lark.
That too.
Always saving
Well, when
her.
Will went away, that's when I was like, all right, it's over.
Yep.
And then she was like, oh, I almost died, but I'm still here, sitting in space. I couldn't shoot anything because I'm drunk.
Will Lark, loyal to the end, unless one of the enemy DMs him.
Listen,
Yeah. What the fuck?
he's a very soft boy. He just wants his boyfriend.
And
He's
Blink
the
is the
softest
closest
cinnamon
thing.
roll. He is like an unbaked cinnamon roll. He is so soft.
Correct.
I don't know. I was getting that like secondhand dread when I was reading him listen to the message. I was like, oh my God, why would you think this was a good idea? You don't remember that like 3 weeks ago or however long ago Pandem Nye was, you were literally trying to save this person's life and he's like, now I'll just shoot at you. Like now you think that he's your friend?
Yeah,
Okay.
and the thing too is like when we had one of those keys scenes,
Cedia?
Cedia, the lieutenant, she's very smart. Very, like, kind of cutthroat. But she's like, oh, so here's the thing.
I wish
That-
the listeners could see the look on Miranda's face right now.
Yeah,
It
I'm
is-
sure. We should put it on the Instagram.
it's
honestly.
at least a PG-13 face that's happening as Miranda's talking about Cedia.
I'm very gay, okay? I'm a simple woman. But she's like, so here's the thing. What if we take this recording that I have from Pandem Nye or like the Oradol cluster or whatever? Will Lark is gay for this dude, and I think we could convince him to tell Will to do something as part of our plan. And it's just like very, fingers together, evil, like maniacal laughter. But it just so much dread.
Side note or related note or tangent, whatever the hell the word is here. I love that Will is like, oh my God, he heard my messages. And then he remembers that he had, it's just like when you're like in middle school and you write the name of the person, you cross it out really fast and they're not even in your class. And you're like, oh my God, they saw what I wrote. Like, he's just like, he heard my messages that I didn't even save.
Oh my God, that's a perfect analogy.
Yeah, I could have done something with the notes app, but that seemed more apt.
He is,
Happed.
and he's so gullible too.
Thank you for seeing my pun.
It never occurs to him that the person
crap.
who has flown for Shadow Wing for the entire Empire still flies for Shadow Wing several months after your initial encounter in the Oradol cluster could possibly
And told
be
you
tricking
that you were going to die in the void of space. In
Yeah.
your time, it's not like they had a good conversation.
Yeah, it's not like they bonded.
It's like we're still gonna shoot at each other tomorrow. This is not a star-crossed lover situation.
He didn't even say anything nice. He just said, like, there's this myth, and it's going to swallow you up, and you're going to die. All right, cool, bye. What? Sorry, Chris, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but just adding.
Oh no,
like,
that was the end of
layers
my
there.
point. It's just Will is he's too innocent for this world. He's too innocent for this galaxy.
I just want him to go home.
So does he.
Just it's been fucking like 5 years of like unbroken warfare, and Will Lark still falls for the over there. Like
Yeah.
This is kind of a minor point, and it's again about how the Empire has like some very smart people working for it, even though it doesn't exist anymore. But when Keyes is talking about Alphabet Squadron and like giving the briefing, he's like, so there's this one pilot who I think is from this planet because of these two reasons. And it's like Will's fucking planet with his space dragons or whatever the fuck they fly into the clouds. And it's like, like we're obviously rooting for the rebels here. But like that is some good like reconnaissance information.
I will say I was impressed that Erica did something similar when she recognized the flying type of Keyes. I was like, oh, okay, I thought it was just Keyes being Keyes when he figured out, oh, this person used. But is it a little shady that Keyes is not like, that's clearly Erica Quill? He was like, oh, it's a former TIE fighter pilot. I've only had the one glass of wine, I promise. But I just felt like, oh, that's like when you recognize someone and they're like, who are you? What? What's your name?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to him, there's a lot of former Thai pilots.
Well, that's what I mean. I would think she would have stood out after all her time. But
Apparently, he was like, go to the rebellion, and just like forgot about her.
Who's that one in the rebellion?
It would have been really
Maybe
funny.
it's her girlfriend.
It would have been really funny if it was just like some fucking rando who like also knew how to fucking like press the tie controls in the correct fucking sequence to do the same move.
Yeah,
But yeah. And then so we leave this section and we've kind of switched from where we were at the end of Alphabet Squadron. Because at the end of Alphabet Squadron, it was very much Alphabet Squadron is on the ascendant. They saved Pandem Nye. They worked together. Chas gave up her death wish temporarily. And Shadow Wing was in tatters. Grandmother was dead. Yada yada. And now it's the opposite. Because Shadow Wing has purpose. They are here to murder.
They're from the Empire. They're here to murder. No,
And-
okay, just me. Cool.
No. You were. I was with you.
Yeah, I nodded.
Me and Rana both nodded. Famously helpful for an audio medium.
Yes, exactly.
Famously an audio medium. Pod right in the name.
And
Just like pod racing.
and Alphabet Squadron is literally and figuratively not even a squadron anymore. Chas is doing her own thing. Will is doing his own thing. Nath is following Will because he's like, I have two bad options, so I'm going to select this bad option. And Irika is floating in space.
And Kairos is floating in Bacta somewhere.
Yeah, Kairos, who the fuck knows where she is?
Can I just say
She's on Tatooine.
maybe this is right. There we go. That makes sense. I have no idea, like, if this only stood out to me, but I just felt so downtrodden when Will is like, I can't communicate, so I'm gonna slowly go by Chas, and she's gonna understand, and Nath is like, yeah, here we go. And Chas was like, something blurred by my screen, but I don't know what it was. I was like,
Yeah.
oh no.
Yeah,
Chas is like,
I mean,
who's this idiot with their blinkers on? Fuck off.
it's like you've had your blinker on for 3 miles. Can you please turn it off? You're not changing lanes. And meanwhile, like, Nath is like, I know exactly what to do. Like, we're going to get Irika's attention. We're going to tell everybody on the Lodestar that, like, it's shadowing. And he's like, you know, pew pew, firing his little lasers. And everybody's like, what the fuck is this guy doing? But Irika's like, oh, okay. So it's just like, it's really interesting to see, like, how the different folks in the squadron are able to, like, communicate with each other. And also
Yeah.
Chas is just fucking drunk.
Yeah.
It is. Nath is like weirdly the like missing link between all of them in a way.
He's
Like
the glue guy.
he's the glue guy who like is the worst, but you know you need him because he knows exactly how to get through to Irika, and he's dead on right about how to communicate that it's Shadow Wing. He knows Will and knows like that Will is going to need his help and knows that he is like, you know, like an older brother figure to him. And he knows Chas, and if he'd been the one making the decisions, maybe he would have been able to get through to Chas because he's also like, I am also a drunken shit. Let me speak your language. And yet he remains the worst.
You can't get both. You gotta pick one.
I hate it when he does that.
Exactly.
That seems like a perfect place to end this episode and go back and read more about the shit that is Nath. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Book Wars Pod. Next week, we are going to be continuing, obviously, with Shadowfall by Alexander Freed, reading chapters 13 through 16. And in the meantime, you can find us in the Tashi Station Radio Patreon Slack, on Twitter or Instagram at BookWarsPod, or email us at bookwarspod@gmail.com. If you have the means, please donate to either of the organizations that we mentioned at the top or any of the ones that are going to be listed in our show notes. At the top, again, we mentioned Advanced Native Political Leadership. We mentioned API ENC, or API Equality Northern California. We also, in our show notes, just to give you a heads up, we're going to be mentioning Asian Americans Advancing Justice, the National Asian Pacific American Women's Forum, and the larger national group. I don't actually know if it's a group, but the larger national giving campaign for Stop AAPI Hate. So please, if you have anything to give to those organizations, please do. If you, after you do that, want to support us, you can donate to the Tosh Station Radio Patreon or give us coffee at ko-fi.com/bookwarspod. It helps us cover our hosting and production costs, and we will continue to post pictures of Argos, Cerberus, Jasper, Orca, and Tony, who made a guest appearance on the video version of this that y'all will not see, but me and Rana made very delighted faces and completely threw Miranda off her game.
Oh, I got off my game because I saw Tony behind me.
He's 100% effective, is what he is at fucking people up. Our theme song is Whiz Bang by Poddington Bear. Our logo and artwork are by Joe Butera Design, and our audio and production are done, as always, by Kristen Cerisi. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Book Wars Pod. For Rana, Miranda, Kristen, and Kate, I am Chris, and we'll talk to you next week.
I don't like you either.
So the song is the one